Had a job, I worked at McDonald's.
Introduce the type of guy he is. Icy White was employed before TikTok.
Had a job, I worked at McDonald's.
Yet a family member exposed him, stating he worked there for a week and showed up one day and they were like, "Why are you here?" He found out the previous day he showed up to work, so high on Xanax that he got fired, and he didn't remember any of it. Thankfully for White, however, a work ethic wasn't needed for his genre of TikTok content, simply being a feminine man who was attracted to women.
If I had a girlfriend, hair, nails, new bag, because I want to take care of my girl. I'll be so proud to have a girlfriend and I want to be obsessed with her.
That was his very first TikTok, and it gained over 8 million views, fueled by people wondering if he was actually telling the truth. Icy White fed into this to achieve a repeat audience, with videos as simple as "people who don't understand that I can be femme and still like girls," giving him hundreds of thousands of likes. White funneled this attention into bingo gambling sponsorships.
I am the king of bingo. I am the king of gambling.
And then scolded the audience because they weren't as rich as him.
I make $800,000 a month year. You're not even near my tax bracket. Google me, you can see my net worth.
Maybe White had an ego as he'd previously been in jail.
And I've been to jail like multiple times.
Which the audience quickly realized he most definitely deserved. Because a user named KD Nail Artistry uploaded a TikTok explaining she was the one who did Wyatt's nails, and he agreed to pay me from the start at a price of $200 for 3 different sessions. Well, rather than paying, he wrote me a check from a closed bank account. He also knew I was in nail school at the time, so not only was Wyatt a total scumbag, but it also seemed he wasn't as rich as he professed. Despite this, Wyatt only kept on bragging,
"Gee, I sure do look like the disappointment of the family, but isn't it funny how I make the most money? Sit down."
Believing that you'll get much further in life by cutting off all the toxic people and focusing on becoming the main character. Wyatt seemingly went against his own advice and began dating a girl named Moore, with whom he started to spend irresponsible amounts of money.
Okay, so baby got her Benz. Hey, I had to give me one too. Stop playing, we some Benz babies now.
Wyatt had his Mercedes wrapped in hot pink, while Moore's Mercedes was crashed within a month, introducing everyone to Wyatt's terrible driving history. He had to move out of California solely because of driving offenses.
The reason why I went to Florida was because I couldn't drive here. I had like so many traffic tickets and like driving on suspended license, DUIs, everything. So I went to Florida and I got my license, and it was perfectly fine.
And would upload an old video of his own road rage incident, trying to look tough with the title "Don't Play With Me TF." Wyatt was clearly proud of being a terrible human.
And normally I'm not that nice. Normally it doesn't matter who you are, I will be like, shut the f up. I don't want to hear about that. Please stop talking about that. Next subject.
And nothing solidified this more than a video he accidentally posted. He'd already given the audience a tour of his house, but it was specifically on this house's front walkway that he'd kick his girlfriend out by throwing away all of her possessions. Wyatt claimed the video was posted accidentally, and the couple quickly reconciled, but the pink Mercedes seen back in the tour was about to be another problem. 25 days after getting the car, he'd post this TikTok looking all bruised and battered, which came with a tweet reading, "I'm gonna get some rest and try and recover. My face is in so much pain and the rest of my body." Wyatt then gave some context. He claimed that 2 white hillbillies attacked him unprovoked.
I was hate crimed in Florida. I was attacked by 2 men. My car was stuck between like a Chick-fil-A line. They backed me in so that they could both come out and come on either side of my car and attack me.
Describe like what they look like. Older men,
Big,
like our age.
fat hillbilly in like a white pickup truck. That's what they look like. And I'm in a pink Mercedes with this type of nails.
Yeah.
And when he called to report the hate crime, police beat him further because he didn't take off his seatbelt.
Yeah, should I do a story time about how I got ripped out my Mercedes and my ass beat for trying to take my seatbelt off when they tell me to get out the car?
White had filmed his own snippet of the incident.
I can't take the seatbelt off? You need to show some respect.
Posting only what made him look like a victim, with the caption "Sunrise County Police in Broward County ambushed me in my neighborhood hours after I had called for help in a road rage incident earlier in the day. They didn't send anyone to help me, but came to my house hours later and held me at gunpoint. This is not okay." Wyatt was clearly the victim here, right? Well, later that day, TMZ posted their own article. TikTok star Icy White arrested for battery on police officer, which clarified he was booked on Monday night for 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, 1 count of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, 1 count of battery on an officer, and 1 count of resisting arrest. Wyatt's innocence was suddenly in question, yet he continued to claim I was the victim. This was in self-defense, also adding I didn't batter the police. I was handed my phone, and then another officer ripped it out of my hand, and because I didn't release it right away, he said I assaulted him. On TikTok, White maintained it was all police's fault.
The rumors are not true. There will be several news stories coming out soon about what actually happened. The police were in many wrongs.
Until the body cam footage was publicly released. To nobody's surprise, White wasn't actually hate crimed. It began with him parked in the middle of the street, yelling at a random lady, leading the 2 white hillbillies to stand up for the woman. They politely told White to get back in the car, stop blocking traffic, to which White responded by pistol whipping them, throwing a drink on their car, and driving erratically in front of them, almost hitting a lady with her infant baby. Stop blocking traffic, to which White responded by pistol whipping them, throwing a drink on their car, and driving erratically in front of them, almost hitting a lady with her infant baby as he sped away from the scene. In a beautiful display of stupidity, Wyatt then called police himself, reporting, "I just pulled over because somebody just tried to kill me in the car. This truck came up and tried to cut me off. So I pulled over to the next lane, and again he's trying to swerve into my lane and tried to hit the car, yet this is actually what he'd done to them." Wyatt then continued lying, and then I had 4 guys jump out of the car and say, "We're gonna beat the crap out of you and stuff," failing to include that he'd pissed pistol whip them after. After speaking with these hillbillies, police discovered the truth, showing up at Wyatt's house to arrest him, where he'd speak the infamous line, "Y'all don't know who I am." Wyatt maintained, "I didn't hit nobody," claiming his girlfriend was there to confirm his story.
So my girlfriend can't be a witness too.
Was she with you?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, we can talk to her when she gets here.
Moore then showed up to tell her side, yet it was later shown by this frame that Moore wasn't even there at the time. Wyatt's final defense of having a gun was because he drove a bright pink car who is famous online and gets messed with on the freeways all the time, as if it's been a lifelong issue, and he didn't just buy the car 4 weeks before. He added, "I have millions of followers. People make this stuff up all the time," to which the cop responded,
Not everybody knows who you are.
prompting Wyatt to add, "I have 58 million followers. Everybody who's been on TikTok or Instagram has seen who I am." Before spending the night in jail, Wyatt bragged about his jewelry,
You know this is an $80,000 chain I'm wearing like your person, right?
being released the following day and posting a celebratory TikTok.
You can't get rid of me, bitch. I'm not going nowhere.
Wyatt then called the paparazzi on himself to claim the "don't you know who I am" phrase was referring to him being the one who called police.
I called the police and told them that this whole altercation happened. So when they pulled up, I said, "Don't you know who I am? Don't you know who I am?"
Bragging about his followers was due to his head injury,
I'm not slurring my words until they slam my head on the ground. Then I'm like, "Oh, I have 58 million followers."
which was covered by a brand new tattoo of his girlfriend's name on his face. Despite treating the arrest like one massive joke, Wyatt was in serious trouble,
So yeah, I might be facing 20 years in prison because of this night.
yet he'd still post TikToks such as this one,
All right, y'all. Do y'all think I should get this 2021 Range Rover or should I get a G-Wagon?
leading to many comments mocking him. If I were facing up to 20 years, I don't think looking for a new vehicle would be at the top of my list of things to do. Additionally, because Wyatt was now awaiting trial,
If I got pulled over, I could get the maximum sentence, 10 years.
leading to a TikTok beef with his very own mother. She simply gave Wyatt the most obvious advice ever.
She's like, "Well, you know you're not supposed to be driving. If you get pulled over, you're gonna go to jail for 10 years, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "Girl, can we talk about this another time? Like, I'm really not trying to hear about this." She's like, "Okay, well, I'll talk to you about it later." Then I'm like, "No, I don't ever want to talk to you about it unless I bring it up because that's something that triggers me."
Leading to their relationship completely falling apart. They'd publicly argue back and forth about anything and everything, although Wyatt failed to take any of her advice. Because during this period of waiting for his sentence, Wyatt's stepdad proudly announced he got into an altercation and keyed a car while he was out on bail. As a result, Wyatt was rearrested to be jailed until his trial, predicting just beforehand he wouldn't be in for long.
I'm looking at probably a month's time and $10,000.
However, 3 months passed without a word about his trial, and his plan to work out every day didn't exactly happen,
Because I'm gonna just be working out the whole time.
as he'd tell his girlfriend via jail phone he gained 40 pounds or 18 kilos. In the process, Wyatt was facing other issues,
Have you gotten in a fight since you've been in there?
I was attacked.
as Moore finds out Wyatt will be serving at least 2 years.
I know I was being delulu, like thinking that this was gonna be like quick and easy and that you were gonna be home soon. The reality is just like very much like hitting me now.
Despite this, Moore had Icy Wyatt tattooed on her neck, live streaming the session during which she'd get a call. On the phone was a debt collector asking for payment on a mattress. They've got all this money apparently, but can't buy a mattress outright. Wyatt's mum then revealed they had payments on their cars, making it obvious they'd financed their whole life and were pretty much broke. 2 months ago, Wyatt vocalized being worried about the cost of a phone call, while his 40-pound weight gain has turned into 70.
I gained 70 pounds since I've been here. Can you believe that? I've gained almost 100 pounds.
As a last-ditch effort, Wyatt sent the judge a letter stating, "I feel absolutely terrible and ashamed for the way I handled things with these people. I'm not the type of person to hurt anyone or vandalize people's property. That just isn't who I am or who I want to be," but the judge didn't buy it. Icy Wyatt's still yet to be convicted, having spent 12 months in prison and lost absolutely everything simply because he couldn't hold
and that, of course, it was a mistake. Now, what he did was wrong, and I think anyone could see that. Who the hell would want to be filmed in a bathroom? And while the memes of this incident were out in full force, this only served to show that his community, his friends, his sponsors had his back, that this wasn't going to be enough to make them turn their backs on him. And this was also the same year in which he got signed to CAA. So look, from an objective point of view, yes, there were cracks showing at the seams of his reputation, but was he still growing? Of course. Was he still an icon? Absolutely. Was he the face of Twitch? To many people, he was. He was in some drama, there were setbacks, but to Dr. Disrespect, he wasn't going to let that get in the way of him achieving greatness. And for a while, people believed this, until Twitch had a different idea and decided to flat out end his career in the most dramatic way possible. Dr. Disrespect just couldn't keep it in his pants, and we probably would have never been able to know this if it wasn't for Burger Planet's stream. But at this point, it seemed like he could still recover from this. It wasn't the end of the world for Doc, until 2020 came along. What happened to him caused an earthquake in the entirety of the Twitch online community, as well as anyone related to it. This wasn't just about Dr. Disrespect anymore. This was huge, and you're about to find out why. Let's do this. So, we are now in 2020, and the pandemic is in full swing. Everyone is locked down in their homes and unable to leave. Due to this, many people's digital presence was amplified. And you can see a little spike here during the lockdowns at their worst, in which Dr. Disrespect was getting almost 100,000 followers per month, periodically reaching a max viewer count per stream of almost 40,000 people. This was huge. Yeah, sure, he would continue to create memes inadvertently, like how he bought a bunch of shungite rocks to stop the 5G rays from hurting him and his family, but it played into his character. Look, Dr. Disrespect is a boomer by all means. He's someone who peaked a long time ago and who still talks about his glory days. That's the whole character, that's the persona. Guy Beam himself described Dr. Disrespect as edgy, highly opinionated, cocky, etc. when he had apologized for the bathroom incident in E3, and this was very much the case. This meant that him being into shungite and thinking 5G rays are gonna kill you, or hell, even him cheating on his wife and him being a womanizer played very well into the character. But yes, of course, the fact that he got triggered over it wasn't helping, but should he choose to embrace it one day, it would have only made him stronger. He simply wasn't going to let his past mistakes get in the way of his unlimited potential as, how many people put it, the face of Twitch. As long as this was up to him, he was going to reach unprecedented heights. But unfortunately, it wasn't just up to him anymore, because another entity would now become a part of the equation. An entity that Dr. Disrespect thought was on his side, until it wasn't. Because on June 26, 2020, Twitch banned Dr. Disrespect. With no announcement, with no prior knowledge, it just happened overnight. When people went to Dr. Disrespect's channel, this is what they saw, what you typically see when a channel's banned. This channel is currently unavailable due to violation of Twitch community guidelines or terms of service. Well, the thing is, back then, this wasn't seen as such a big deal just yet. Twitch wasn't really seen as an amazing website. Its staff were always at the butt of many jokes. They're very inconsistent with their rules and their bans, clearly showing favoritism sometimes and showing the opposite on other occasions. This wasn't the first time Doc got banned. Of course, as we saw in 2019, he got banned for invading the bathrooms of E3. But this became a monumental piece of information in the entire streaming and gaming community when it turned out that sources were coming to gaming journalists telling them that it was not a temporary ban, but a permanent ban. Guys, I can't state just how big of a deal this was. If you just as much frequented Twitch, you knew. And if you weren't, well, the best way I can sum this up to you is that this was practically the 9/11 of the streaming world. Everyone was watching in horror, not understanding how the hell such a titan of the industry, such a pillar of Twitch and streaming and gaming was just overnight permanently banned with no notice. This was also at a time where Twitch was having its top talent poached and they needed every single one of them. Two of Twitch's biggest streamers, Shroud and Ninja, were signed to Mixer at the time, Microsoft's streaming platform, in a multi-million-dollar deal. I'm not talking millions, I'm talking tens of millions. And Dr. Disrespect was one of the only titans left on the platform when it came to Twitch at that time. So at this point, all the internet detectives put on their hats and got to work. Why did he get banned? This doesn't make any sense. People started analyzing his last stream on Twitch in which he takes out his phone and seems to be looking at it before his mood completely changed, making people think that, oh, he knew this was going to be his last stream. He knew they were going to ban him after this. Watch.
It has to happen.
He pulls out his phone right here, looks at it, moment of silence, and then the mood changes. Almost like he knew that he was going to be banned the next day. And then, probably one of the most iconic tweets in the streaming world, and I mean this, was from Rod Breslow, aka Slasher. Up until this point, Slasher was known to be a gaming insider involved in esports and the games industry. On June 27th, he comes out with this tweet saying, "Look, for several hours now, I have been told from credible sources the reason Dr. Disrespect has been banned. However, due to the importance and sensitivity around the subject, I have refrained from going on it. I don't feel comfortable with it currently." As you can see, this tweet blew the hell up, and why wouldn't it? In the context of the streaming world, this is like someone saying, hey, I know who killed JFK, but I can't tell you, bye. Coming from someone specialized in that field. There was another gaming journalist as well by the name of Shannon, and her tweet also became iconic. This was actually done on the day Dr. Disrespect got banned, and she said, from my own sources, Doc is indeed done, and not just on Twitch. I know why and cannot say, but this is serious. Both Shannon and Slasher's tweets made waves in the community, but then over time became memes. They also got a lot of hate for it, and it really hurt their credibility. Because this was them effectively saying, hey, I know why he got banned, but I can't tell you, and running away, which hurt their credibility. Because this was them effectively saying, hey, I know why he got banned, but I can't tell you, and running away, which to many isn't really real journalism. Then a couple of weeks after Slasher's tweet, he got on Hassan Piker's stream on Twitch to talk a bit more about it. This is when he revealed that his tweet saying that he has sources that told him what happened to Dr. Disrespect actually triggered an internal investigation at Twitch, which of course served only as more fuel to the fire. What is so crazy? What is so insane? That people are potentially getting in trouble for even talking about it at Twitch. This emboldened people further to start creating more in-depth conspiracy theories. A Twitch ban was somehow turned into something that can rival Area 51 conspiracy theorists. And some of those theories were wild. You had game journalists make videos getting a lot of views, coming up with theories like maybe Dr. Disrespect got banned so that Twitch could afford Shroud and Ninja. Because at the time, Mixer shut down. Microsoft failed yet again at creating another service, which meant that instead of having to stream for years, Shroud and Ninja just got their $40 million and were like, well, I'm good now. They then signed a contract with Twitch. So what this journalist was saying was that, oh, you know, they just flat out permanently banned Dr. Disrespect so that they don't have to pay him a contract and they can instead focus on Shroud and Ninja. Based on the like ratio and the views, people actually believed this. There were news articles giving light to these theories. Moist Critical made a video with over 2 million views talking about these theories. Almost every big streamer on Twitch at the time chimed in to give their opinion. And from being chronically online at the time, I can tell you this. These are the biggest theories that were kind of thrown around in the streamer community. The first one is very simple. People actually thought that he got banned because of past actions. You'd see instances online where someone would say, hey, how come we don't know why he got banned yet? And then some people would be confused, saying, wait, I thought he was permanently banned because he cheated on his wife or because of the whole bathroom incident thing. When in reality, no, it had nothing to do with it. The timeline is completely different. There was a second theory that aligned more with Dr. Disrespect's character. He always complained that Twitch wasn't valuing him enough. He saw his coworkers Shroud and Ninja get tens of millions of dollars from Mixer, and he thought that he wasn't getting what he deserved. This was something he would mention more than once. So there was a theory that alleged that he actually was trying to create a streamer union, contacting other big streamers to get them into a union so that they can demand from Twitch better compensation.